Welcome to Haunted Tennessee. I'm Alexia Chiropoulos. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll dive into stories in our area that are a little bit off. They're haunted, something that'll make the hair on the back of your neck stand up and make you wonder what happens when it gets dark outside. We start in Adams, Tennessee. The small town in Robertson County holds a big and scary reputation. I went there recently to learn about the Bell Witch. Adams, Tennessee, home to the Bell family, is known for one of the most famous supernatural legends in America.
Voices and strange noises in the cave is actually very common, but there's been stuff actually happen all over the farm. It's not just the cave. We've had tapping and knocking in the cabin or hear footsteps and nobody's there.
Beyond this gate, the Bell Witch began her wrath.
A spirit terrorized the Bell family during the early 1800s. It started out as small tapping noises and gradually gained strength to where it could talk.
The strange activity quickly escalated. The entire Adams community felt its chill.
The whole community of Adams witnessed this. It attended church, but it gave multiple identities of itself, saying that it was an Indian spirit, an immigrant spirit.
Even Andrew Jackson heard the story, and what happened next would be etched into history.
Then it gave its reasons for being here. It was to stop the youngest daughter from getting married to a neighbor boy and then to kill John Bell. And this has gone down in history as the only known case of the supernatural to ever kill a person.
For more than 2 centuries, the legend has been passed down, bending between fact and fear.
But it didn't take long to realize that we weren't talking about your typical campfire story, but more of a historical mystery, one that involved a family that endured 4 years of harassment.
And still today, people travel far and wide for this folklore.
We've had people from the Czech Republic, Australia, Japan, all over Europe.
We joined Candy Hooten on a tour to see what we might find.
We start them all here so that people will know the story before they go down to the cave.
Visitors first step into the Bell family cabin before descending into darkness below.
According to the books, the Bell family used the cave for storage because of the cool temperature. The kids would often have picnics down there and fish down on the river below the cave. And the spirit actually saved a boy's life in the cave one time.
Even now, some say the spirit makes itself known.
There has been times where we've heard somebody walk up on the pavilion and there's nobody there. We've come in and there'd be books all over the floor in the gift shop. That's happened multiple times, actually.
History or haunting, the Bell Witch legend has put Adams on the map. Every October, the legend comes alive with hay rides, tours, and
the Bell Witch Festival that they have up there every year, and they have those 2 plays. And there's a lot of people in Adams that, of course, occasionally will talk about the Bell Witch, but they refer to her as Kate.
And if you're wondering whether we cross paths with the ghost of the Bell Witch, well, that secret stays behind closed doors. You'll just have to come see for yourself.
I think it's important that in today's world we preserve our history and keep using our oral traditions to pass this history down.
A historic silent movie theater in Middle Tennessee called the Palace Theater in the heart of Gallatin. Now, it's attracted a lot of ghost hunters over the years, trying to find out if the original owner still is among us. Back in 2023, News 2's Stephanie Langston visited the Palace Theater for herself to find some answers.
In the heart of the historic downtown square in Gallatin, you can feel the pulse of the Palace Theater. The theater thrived from 1913 until 1977 and is believed to be the oldest silent movie theater still standing in its original location in the state of Tennessee. Bill Roth purchased the property for his daughter decades ago, but she passed away before it opened. Today, Mr. Roth's spirit is believed to still haunt the palace.
Would you like to see this theater live forever with your name?
The Tennessee Wraith Chasers have investigated many acclaimed paranormally active historic sites.
I think Mr. Roth is here because he did purchase this place for his daughter. He didn't want to see the show end. You know, he wants the movie to go on.
Keeping his spirit alive, the ghost hunters have documented a number of unexplained audio and video anomalies at the Palace Theater.
A lot of the EVPs that we've caught is right here in this auditorium, and it seems to go from the auditorium upstairs to the projector room.
Watch as they ask Mr. Roth to turn off the flashlight.
Do you like the flashlights?
Turn it off if you can.
And while these guys are known for their hunts, capturing unexplained activities for their TV show, our cameras also captured some eerie interaction firsthand.
Can you come up and hit the meter?
Doogie points out that something or someone is responding on demand to his commands on the EMF or electromagnetic frequency meter.
Roth, do you enjoy the people being here today, doing a story with you?
While we may never know who or what haunts the theater, the Wraith Chasers say there's no doubt something is there.
There's definitely a moving energy in here, whether it's Roth, whether it's something we don't understand. It's definitely here.
We now head south to Rutherford County in Murfreesboro. That is where Oakland's mansion is. They have some pretty creepy traditions, ones to try to keep the ghosts away. Back in 2017, News 2's Paige Hill visited to hear the history behind the house.
On a dead-end road in downtown Murfreesboro, this was the old vacant house that gave the neighborhood the creeps.
You hear stories from people that come in for tours that say, you know, in the late 50s, this was like the haunted house of town because it was empty, and it was the house that, you know, you were dared to run up and throw a rock in the window or something.
Since then, it's been restored into the Oakland's mansion we know today, open for curious visitors to tour. But in October, the house lives up to its nickname, the creepy old house, taking you deep into how families in the 1800s mourned the death of a loved one. Then there were so many superstitions surrounding death. First, you'll notice all the mirrors in the house are covered with black drapes.
One of them was that when someone in the house passed away, the next to see their reflection would be the next to go.
People were sick and often died in their own home and on their deathbed. At Oakland's, they've recreated exactly what one would have looked like, located conveniently next to the embalming room. That's a traditional table a physician would use to preserve the remains. And then it was to the coffin in the parlor, where someone was sure to stay with the body around the clock until the funeral service.
Would be to make sure that you didn't wake up, to make sure you really were dead.
In the 1800s, you always knew when a woman was in mourning. She dressed in black for years following the death of a loved one. Just like the woman in this portrait who lost 4 babies in a very short time. Seems like not one homeowner of the past dismissed the early superstitions because no one has any paranormal stories yet.
Still to come on Haunted Tennessee, we head to a spa in Dixon and find out why a spirit appears to be haunting the place decades after a tragic event. Welcome back to our special, Haunted Tennessee. Let's go to Dixon County to visit a small business that has a special guest. It's home to relaxation, but it's also home to a Main Street legend. Along Main Street in Dixon, history runs deep. It isn't just in the bricks and beams. Some say it breathes between the walls.
You want to go way back?
Steve Sadler opened his business, Bloom Day Spa, in 2016.
People need to recuperate, you know, and that's what we do here.
About a year into operations, strange occurrences began to unfold.
90% of the staff have seen odd things happening. He's not a malevolent spirit by any means. He's more playful. He loves turning off lights. He moves things around. And other than that, I mean, they can just sense a presence, you know.
The presence could be tied to a dark past. More than 115 years ago, this building was an old railroad hotel and has been scorched again and again.
There's been, to my knowledge, 13 fires on this little corner right here since the 1900s.
The first fire ignited a tragedy, and its shadow still lingers.
And I believe it was on January, first week of January, second week of January, really cold time of the year. And at the time, you know, the main way to heat buildings was fire, open fire. There was a man named Samuel Mullins who was actually staying in the hotel that night. And from everything that I've been able to research, Sam was a guy from Nashville. He was pretty well known.
Mullins had recently undergone surgery and was nearly deaf.
My understanding is the only reason he didn't get out is because he couldn't hear the warnings of everybody saying to get out, you know. He got left, and I think they were under the impression everybody was out, and then they start doing a head count. It's like, where's Mr. Mullins?
Historic documents show that Samuel Mullins was staying on this side of the Maze Hotel in 1910. When it burnt down, he wasn't able to get out.
But about a week later, after the fire, people started to notice that something was sort of strange happening over here in the rubble.
Witnesses saw a figure kneeling among the ashes, praying. Now, over a century later, they think the spirit of Mullins is stuck in this spiritual place.
He hangs out in our couples room quite a bit, in these rooms on the back side.
As we toured the spa, lights began to flicker in those same rooms.
Maybe it's Mr. Mullins. The laundry room light, we don't turn that off, but he turns it off all day long. He moves vials and things around in rooms, you know. Every so often he'll pound on a wall. Just being playful.
Over the years, they've tried to make sense of these odd things.
We've been told something about an Indian burial ground right here in the area.
But whatever the reason, Sadler says, this ghostly guest is welcome.
He treats us right, we treat him right.
KP Lanes in McMinnville is no ordinary bowling alley. The employees that work there have had some pretty crazy encounters that have turned them into believers. Back in 2016, our Eric Egan went to McMinnville to check it out and found something in the dark.
75 miles from Nashville in Warren County sits McMinnville, Tennessee, a town established more than 200 years ago with history and stories. Some of them ghost stories.
I feel like he's attached to this for some reason.
This is one of those stories. And to tell it, we take you to KP's McMinnville Lanes, a bowling alley to many, to believers, a home to a member of the spirit world.
There was one night he was really insistent about banging.
Normally, the bangs come from bowlers or the game room with its sounds and flashing lights. But when it slows down here, people leave and the lights go low, strange things seem to happen.
And you know there's nobody here but you, and all this banging and stuff is going on. I mean, it's creepy, I won't lie.
Betty Perry owns the bowling alley and everything in it, aside from the spirit she calls Sammy. She claims her granddaughter saw the ghost in a storage room. Perry says the intercom goes off inexplicably when no one else is in the building. And perhaps the most unnerving, late at night, long after the final frame, fairly often, she'll hear this. Full disclosure, we staged that for the purpose of our story. But later during our shoot, we didn't have to. Because as Perry says,
if you spend much time here and you stay here late at night, you will believe, I promise you.
The story goes decades back. A tombstone was found underneath the floor in a back office. The only thing legible on it, the name Sammy. And Sammy seems to spend most of his time roaming the pit area behind the lanes.
He said he felt like he walked through
something.
Almost like a melted plastic feeling or something.
Wiley Simmons once owned the alley, and he's been bowling here since he was a kid. Simmons was our tour guide.
That's his dwelling, basically. It's just where he's comfortable with.
Into the dark depths to find Sammy.
So
I open this door.
And this is actually the mechanics room we'll be stepping in.
Here we go. Once inside, we have it lit with our equipment, but it is dark. Just for effect, I'll turn off the light. We'll see just how dark it really is back here. Okay, so we're on our way to the pit area. It's complete.
It's just about
dark. It was a second ago. Then mere moments later, things got weird. So this is the area where we're thinking pins might get tossed about.
Right behind the lanes here to our right. Yeah, we're fixing to run.
Knocking just a second ago.
Really?
That was my photographer, Al, who noticed a noise. Okay, we might be hearing something. It's sort of faint. Stunned, we point the camera down the pit to investigate.
That sounded like a pin going off, actually.
It's dark, eerie, and to us, unknown.
It's right up here in the floor in front of him.
That wasn't there before, was it?
No, sir.
Until now, the pin wasn't there, and neither was anybody else. We found what we feared. But how did it get here?
Show Betty right now. What do you think?
I think he wanted you to know he was here. I'll be honest.
When the machines are off, the pins are held in two places, high up in the machine or deep inside of it. They should not move.
But you're foot and a half, 2 foot, yeah.
Here, there's a whole lot of machinery getting in the way. There's no way it's just gonna come out unless I say someone or something physically picks it out, goes and tosses it down the way right there.
And that sound right there, I've heard being in here at night by myself, and it sounds like it does exactly that.
So is that what we heard? Was Sammy behind the lanes with us, warning us he was close by? It felt like it.
Because it's late at night,
Yep.
I'm a little more cautious, squirmish,
Yep.
suspicious.
But never felt threatened anyway, never felt, I could get hurt, never, none of that.
Before we leave, maybe another sign.
Sammy, one more for good measure.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
He's probably laughing at us now.
Maybe laughing, hopefully smiling, and pleased by our visit. Because if he's here, these hallways belonged to Sammy long before any business owner. We were his guests for his game at his bowling alley.
Coming up on Haunted Tennessee, we take a tour of a historic former jailhouse where the paranormal seems to be locked behind bars for years. Welcome back to Haunted Tennessee. We now head to a 200-year-old house that used to house criminals, but now it could be housing something else. Behind the bars of the former jailhouse sits history and mystery that refuses to die.
Of course, they formed the county in 1803 and started originally with a log cabin. And then a tornado hit the courthouse, and then and also the old jailer's house. And my understanding is they used some material, kind of repurposed it. And the jailer's house stood for many, many years.
The original sheriff and his family called this brick house home until 1977. They shared a roof with those many would have considered unwanted guests.
According to our county archivist, that was the entrance where the ladies were kept downstairs in the jail. The prisoners, when they used to be here in this back portion that's been removed, driving by after school, them hanging out waving.
Those days are part of the past. The inmates are gone, but the spirits, some believe they're still serving time.
First time I came to the jailer's house to investigate it was around 2008.
Paranormal investigator Mike Sears says the night he spent inside the jailhouse still haunts him.
I can see your arms going up and down, touching you.
Before his team even stepped inside, they heard something they couldn't explain.
We knocked on the door. I put my head inside and said, "Hello, is anybody home? Is the lady of the house here?" And clear as day, all of us heard a woman in the back kitchen goes, "Hello?" And of course, the team leader's like, "No one should be in this house. It's all locked up." So of course, we sent one person behind the house, see if anybody was leaving the back of it, and the rest of us searched the house, and we couldn't find anybody inside.
Then on the second floor, things got even more strange.
In front of the fireplace was two little boys and a girl playing marbles, and which caught me off guard. I was like, whoa. And they looked at me and smiled, and they just poof, vaporized away. And I, yelled out to the team. I said, "Hey, we're gonna have an interesting night."
And inside the jail cell, the most terrifying moment of all, this audio was captured.
And had my back to the wall. And we started asking questions.
I don't mean any harm or anything.
And all of a sudden I started feeling the hair on my arms rise, on my neck.
Okay, I'm gonna leave.
I said, wow, I could feel something heavy around me.
I'm
It doesn't
leaving.
feel pleasant.
I'm leaving.
All of a sudden I felt a big paw of a hand grab me by the back of the neck.
I'm leaving.
Which is impossible because there was a wall behind me. And so of course, spooked me. I said, all right, I'm leaving the jail cell. And I get up, and as on my digital recorder, I hear a man's voice calling me a chicken as I was leaving the jail cell, which was pretty amazing.
Sure to have some hauntings, I'm sure.
Sheriff Tim Eads doesn't need much convincing to hear this 200-year-old property is haunted.
I've heard a lot of stories, and so let's just put it this way. If there was an alarm call there, not just for safety, but for other reasons, we always sent 2 officers to answer that alarm. So.
Sears says some of the prisoners may have never left the jail.
I think some are maybe fear of judgment, like some are prisoners and they're worried what's on the other side waiting for them, so they're stuck here. Because we've had a few prisoners that responded to our questions.
While we toured through the house, even the lights didn't seem to cooperate.
So as you can very well see, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Yeah, and I tried that light switch and it doesn't work.
The county is restoring this property to preserve its history, making it into a museum.
But our goal is like this with the historic courthouse to have it completed by next year, by July 1st of 2026.
Sheriff Eads has this message for the ghosts who are still lurking inside.
Just stay down there, don't come up to the new facility.
That's fair, that's fair. Although the bars may be closed, the shadows still remain. Thank you for watching our special Haunted Tennessee. I'm Alexia Chiropoulos. On behalf of all the journalists currently at News 2 and those that have moved on, we hope you have a great rest of your day.